What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to do a 2022 channel update, I guess at the end of the year, right? But also talk about next year. I'm probably going to do this on both channels. I'm recording the Podcast Now Plus one now. I actually haven't done the Podcast Now one at the time I'm recording, but I just want to start out, and I truly mean this stuff, and that's why I want to start with it. Thank you. Thank you just generally, like just a blanket kind of statement, for all the support you guys have shown, both these channels, but specifically we'll keep it just on this channel for the purposes of this video. Thank you for watching, for supporting. I know there is a lot of, back and forth between this channel and the main channel. I know a lot of people kind of came over from the main channel, but I actually do think, and I have some statistics to prove, there are people that only watch this channel and don't even know about or watch either or the main channel. So thank you for making this year, what it was. And guys, I'm recording this at the end, but quick editing to put it in the beginning. I just want to say this because I think it's very, very important. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm dead serious. I, want to do things based off what you say. So based off what you're about to hear the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about all my plans and all this stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any changes, positive or negative, whatever that you want to see for this channel, let me know in the comments, okay? On with the show. This channel obviously has gone through quite a bit of not just ups and downs, but also it's my fault, okay? I want to just kind of say that out loud. It's not anybody else's, of just not really knowing what this channel is. But I will say, this year, I think I largely figured it out. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, and I want to talk about what you can expect, hopefully pretty consistently, to happen in 2023. So again, this year was actually very successful for this channel. I've looked at the stats, but I haven't looked at it like right before I made this. I do feel it was the most successful year for the channel of all time. I know the last couple months had been like outrageously good in terms of viewership and subscribers and revenue. Like really, the channel did really well the last little while. But I started to settle into a routine, a good routine, not like a lazy, like we're just going to do this every single time kind of thing. So this year, the channel, I think, started to get a little bit more streamlined towards what I wanted it to be. When I first started the channel, originally it was supposed to only cover, I think, PlayStation content. I wanted to make one just for one of the systems, so like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. So I was going to do PlayStation first. I actually originally wanted this to be a hockey channel, an NHL, which I may still do one day, just do an NHL YouTube channel. But I wanted it to be that. Then my wife convinced me to not do that, so I made this stuff. And again, I know generally this is kind of like a leftovers kind of thing from the main channel, and I don't really want it to be that. I know it was kind of almost designed with that in mind, but I will say throughout this year, this channel became more and more like the news-oriented channel, and I do think starting up the podcast again, the Save Point podcast with Sway, as maybe you guys have noticed, I really think, again, better consistency over the last like 3-4 months and going into next year. So what can you hopefully expect, and what have we done this past year that's going into next year? All right, I really would like this channel to be strictly news on at least Monday through Friday. I really would. I'd like it to be that. Sometimes it is that. I would argue during like certain months, it absolutely is that. And then other months when there's less news to talk about, it doesn't become that, right? Then it gets a little bit more messy as to what this channel is. Now you could say, well, Alex, you do news on the main channel. Well, again, overall idea is to kind of not all of the news would be filtered over here, but I would say combining a lot of news. So if you guys noticed, and I had tried this before actually on the main channel, and it failed. And that's actually why I never did it again. But when I tried it here, it actually was very successful. So back in the day, I remember there was just a lot of stuff going on, say, on any given day. And I was like, well, I'll make a video where I cover like 4, 5, 6 different, gaming stories instead of just one. And so I did that on the main channel, and it failed. It did horrible numbers in terms of viewers. So I was like, all right, well, that doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. But I've seen other people try it. I know Angry Joe kind of has a show or, a segment kind of thing where he does stuff like that. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll bring it back. And so there were some months, not even just days, there were some months this year where it was insane. There was a lot of news every single day. And this is like, again, maybe a positive and a negative, I love to cover as much as humanly possible, which could become a negative because I don't like making 8, 9, 10 videos a day doesn't seem like reasonable for me. It also doesn't seem reasonable for you guys to watch, right? It's actually kind of ridiculous, and I understand that. So I thought, all right, well, there was a couple days where there was like 6, 7 stories, and I was like, for the love of God, even if I give the main channel 1 and then this channel 1, I still have 4 or 5 stories left. So what if I combine them again? I remembered, again, I had done that before and it failed. And I was like, well, let's try it on this channel. And it worked. It actually worked very, very well. And I would say very consistently proving to me that it does work, these videos work, okay? I've done enough of them. I feel like I've probably done 20, 30 videos that are like the combination news kind of thing, and they always do really well. And so that stays. That's going to stay. The issue, of course, is like during these next, and again, I'm recording this probably way earlier than you guys are seeing it, but during the Christmas time, right? There's like a 3-week segment where there's nothing. There's like absolutely nothing. So like to have a video on this channel where I go over 4 to 5 news stories, they're non-existent, right? They don't literally exist because nobody's talking. So it is tough because that's when there is not a lot of consistency. There is in terms of every day you get a video from me on this channel, right? But it's not the same kind. You're always going to get something a little bit different, and that may turn people off. And that's, you know, I get that, and I have to become okay with it. I guess I actually already was okay with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing either of these channels. But during the busy times, which I'd like to be all the time, right? And hopefully next year, 2023, is that time because there's going to be stuff happening monthly, these huge announcements, right? So I hope that most days, or at least the majority, right, 51%, will be videos on this channel that are the news compilation kind of things where I go over several news stories. And in that way, I kind of win across the board because I get to cover everything I want to cover, right? Like if there's 7 things in a day, whether you know it or not, I want to cover them. Like from behind the scenes, I want to cover them. I just have to make decisions in my life where it's like, I can't do it, or it wouldn't be a good idea to, or whatever. So I get to cover them all. And in that way, I get to also solidify myself. I guess that's like a part 1A, part 1B. I get to solidify myself as like, yeah, I really do cover so much news. And so if you follow me, you're going to be kept up to date on a lot of news. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And so those things help. And then also it frees up time to do other stuff for like the main channel. I get to maybe pick 4 or 5 stories, put it here. If there's one gigantic story, that of course would go on the main channel, right? Like everything balances a little bit better, and there's consistency. You know that hopefully like Monday through Friday, you get this compilation kind of thing from me, which is cool. And again, a lot of people like it. And then, of course, there's the weekends. Now, maybe one day I will discover that I should just take one. Now, like I don't record every single day. So when I say take one day off, I don't mean like my work schedule. I mean videos uploading, right? Take one day off because this channel, I believe, has uploaded a video every day since the first day it was created. Next month, I think January, will be 3 years. So what's that? Over 1,000? I think like 1,150, somewhere in that range, every single day. Again, I'm not recording every single day, but a video is going up. So maybe one day I will like take Saturdays off or a Sunday off in terms of uploading. But for now, I'm not going to do that. And I actually like that idea because what tends to happen on the weekends is that's where I experiment a little bit more. I mean, technically, the compilation news videos came about through experimentation, right? Like I wouldn't have known that worked or didn't work if I didn't try it. So Saturdays are now, I think, kind of booked, right? Because now we do the Save Point podcast, which we really want to make a legit thing. I had said this to Sway behind the scenes, and I'll say it to you guys now. Like, I always wanted to do a long-form podcast, and it's not like, it's not an ego thing. It's not like I'm going to pat myself on the back and say how great I am, but like the way I do things and the way I cover things and the stuff that I know, like I need somebody to be able to hang with me. And the fact of the matter is, number one, I don't know a lot of people, or I'm not friends with a lot of people, or, you know, I don't like a lot of people, you know, whatever it ends up being. But also a lot of people wouldn't be able to hang with me. There's a lot of very smart, intelligent people, or people that are my friends, social media-wise, online, or in real life, but they won't be able to cover as much as I'd want to, right? And so it just wouldn't work. Sway fits that mold really, really well. He can keep up with everything I throw at him, and I can do the same with him. And we fill in the gaps of the other person as well, because he does stuff that I don't do, and vice versa. So I really like what we got going. There's, of course, room to grow, and we want to grow. We want to put it on like podcasting sites. We want to have guests way more frequently as well, right? So there's a lot we have planned in terms of making the show a lot bigger. And, of course, that would hopefully mean more audience people watching as well. But it's doing well. Like, I'm happy with the numbers so far, and it's a good foundation to then grow on. So that's Saturdays. And then Sundays, really just an experiment kind of day. Sometimes it'll be a video that you may see on like the main channel, but just for so when I do like the why I'm excited for X game or why I'm getting X game and you should too, like those kind of things, sometimes I put them here and I do them on Sundays, and they're for a game that I just don't, it's maybe smaller, whatever. Maybe it ends up actually doing better than some of the other ones. But, sometimes it'll be like recycled videos, but obviously different, just, kind of borrowing something I've already done on the main channel, or it'll be just something kind of new. And I like that because I hope that's what I'm able to do, because I'd like to get it where Monday through Friday is just all news, whether it be one news story a day, or if it's a day that's packed, then it would be multiple news stories in one video. Saturday's a podcast, so you get a long thing that you can watch. You don't have to watch. You can save it. You can watch it during the week after. You can do a lot of stuff with it. So you got that. So that's already two very different kind of things. And then Sunday's just kind of random, and I like that quite a bit. Also, and this will kind of come into play when I make my channel update for the main channel, streamlining, like really going all in on deciding, okay, these channels are for a specific purpose. And I struggled with that for years and years and years. It's actually why my growth has been and was so slow, is because I try to do, again, everything, but not just everything in games. I've tried to do more than that. So what I also want to do with this channel is to make it more things that I may have like used to have done on the main channel that I don't do anymore, which includes movie reviews, and I would say most movie reviews. Something like Scream, of course, does not count. That would be on the main channel. If God willing, we ever get a Pirates 6 with Johnny Depp, that would be on the on the main channel. So huge things like that. But I would even say like Marvel kind of things, or like if I see John Wick 4, like, and those are things I used to have made a review on the main channel. No longer. It's going to go here. I actually already put that into motion this past year with the Halo show, and that's something, to kind of bring up. So I want to do that. I've made the decision, and although it may hurt the growth of the main channel, at least initially, I gotta fight the urge. I really like it sounds so stupid maybe, and almost like it's a therapy session, but like I just want to put things on the channel. Like, I don't really care if it goes against the algorithm and it kind of ruins me. And that is a serious problem, like legitimately a problem I fought for years, and I need to fix it. And in order to do that, I got to just convince myself to do it. So one of those things would be TV show reviews like The Last of Us show. Okay, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Last of Us show, BioShock movie, Ghost of Tsushima movie, like all these things that are happening. Really, it doesn't make sense to do on my main channel. I want it to be on my main channel. I really think I got to fight that urge. And, it did kind of prove itself with the Halo show. Halo, I reviewed every single episode on this channel. They did really well. I would argue against myself that they did better here than they would have done on the main channel. I actually covered Halo's show as like a test on the main channel before it came out. It did horrible. It did better here than it did there. So I do think, again, like that streamlining thing, so that's something you can expect. Like, it's still me. You're always going to get like the same old Alex, but, it's things that maybe I used to would have, I would have done in the past there, and now I'm going to do it here. So I would say, pretty consistent news things, Saturday being the podcast, Sunday being something random. And then when the shows happen, so like the Last of Us show happens actually in a few weeks, in January, right? Every week I'll do a review, and it'll be here. So that may replace a news day, and I only do one video a day. I got to start to downsize or downscale how many videos I do each day. I should have done that a while ago, and I'm not really going to do it all that much over the next year, but I'm not going to do like 2 videos a day on this channel. I got to just do one. So The Last of Us show, that would get the review, on that day. And I think that's it. Honestly, this channel has grown. Like, over the last year, I have had way more fun with this channel than I thought I would have done. It has surprised me more than I thought it was going to. I'll be honest, going into this past year, I really looked at this channel as a complete afterthought. And I will say also, when I made this channel, it kind of was also a complete afterthought. And to my credit, or to defend myself, it's literally because I thought this channel was going to be like a backup or just a place you put the extra. That's why it's called Podcast Now Plus. It's the plus videos. It's just extra stuff, right? So I took it seriously. Like, I covered stuff, but I never really had a lot of expectations and not really coasting through. But again, like every day, the main channel is the focus, and then there's the second channel, kind of like that. And I will say, throughout this year, this channel proved it can be more than that. It can legitimately stand side by side. Obviously smaller. It's not even like in the same realm, but it actually has growth potential, I think. And I would love over the next year for it to be like a legitimate thing where even if I told people like, hey, I have a channel that's this channel and here's what I do, that would even be legitimate. On top of the fact that I have podcasts now. You know what I mean? That's what I really want from this channel, for it to completely stand on its own two legs. And I think this year, honestly, was a really good indication that it can be. The news videos did extremely well when they were consistent. And that's just I guess that's just an industry. I'm going to put the blame on them, not on me. It's just an industry thing, right? And like the shows, reviewing shows, I think if I keep this channel doing what it's doing and keeping it separate from Podcast Now, but also, there's some, I don't even know what the word, synergy, that's probably the word. As long as you know that, but this channel really stands on its own, then I think this channel can actually be something really, really cool. So I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Like, when this channel was taken off over the last couple months, and again, really this whole year has been really good, I've been really impressed. And again, that's kind of where I'm like, I actually am sometimes having more fun here, or wow, this video did insanely well on this channel. Then, of course, there's a part of me that thinks, well, what if I put it on the main channel? Because then would it do like triple the views and the engagement? Like, what would it do? But, you got to maybe sacrifice, if that's the word, or you just got to do it on this channel to help this channel grow. So again, thank you for watching. I know a lot of you guys watch this, again, with the main channel, and I super appreciate that. Like, watching 4 or 5 videos from me every, I sometimes exaggerate. Like, honestly, most days you get 4 videos from me as a person every day, right? You'll get 3 on the main, 1 here. Sometimes it's 4 on the main, 1 here. So sometimes you get 5 videos. But I mean, people that watch 4 or 5 videos of mine every day, you guys are nuts. And I greatly appreciate it. But I also, like, I understand there's burnout, not just from a creator, and I haven't really experienced that, but also from, like, a viewer. Like, if you're watching the same stuff from people, you may get bored. So I really want, like, these 2 channels are gonna be different. You're not gonna see The Last of Us show review on the main channel, but you will see it very consistently here. It will be a legitimate thing, right? News, you will not see, really, those compilation videos of 4 or 5 news stories on the main channel. Unless it's a day that's got like 10 things and 5 of them are huge, then maybe, yeah, I'll do 1 for, you know what I mean? Very rarely would you see that. Maybe once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, but like, you'll see that here. The Save Point podcast is not going to the main channel. It's staying here. And that's, and I think that'll work. I think that'll work for the algorithm. I think that'll work for this channel. I think that'll help people, again, not necessarily keep the 2 channels apart, but also just in their head be like, I'm going to each for just a very different reason that I feel fine with. Like, if I want the biggest news or the coverage on every single game, specific coverage, that's the main channel, right? That's not here. I'm not going to do these Jedi Survivor theories or Scream theories or, all this stuff. Or Hogwarts discussions. I'm not going to do that stuff here. You can only find that there. So it's very different, and I think that should help. And it'll also make it more fun for me because I'll feel like I'm legitimately doing something different versus, again, kind of thinking of something as an afterthought. So this was fun. I also think this is maybe my best and most cohesive channel update that I've ever done in my life for either channel. So I feel good about that. So let me know. I should have said this in the beginning of the video. Maybe I'll put something in the beginning. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about any of this stuff. I take criticism. I take constructive criticism. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about all this, okay? So let me know in the comments. Happy holidays, whichever day we're on right now, and I'll see you all on the next one.